morning, everybody, and welcome to RAMP, Real Access Motivates Progress, our weekly live podcast. We are so excited for the show tonight because it's going to be very informative, and we have so much to talk about. Tonight, we're talking with members from AARP. We are talking to Darlene Reza Rossi, and we're also talking to Matt Netto. Welcome, everybody, and thank you for joining our podcast tonight.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
We are so excited to have you today, and I can't wait to learn all about everything that AARP is doing for the disability community, our elderly community, and everything else that they do in Rhode Island. But first, let's start off with Darlene. Why don't you introduce yourself and let us know what you do and how you became involved with AARP?
Great, yes. So I'm the Associate State Director of Community Outreach for AARP Rhode Island. I've been with AARP almost 5 years. It'll be 5 years in May. And mostly what I do is, as a Community Outreach Associate State Director, is I work with a lot of organizations to partner with them in getting the word out on all of our messages, on our missions and programs and resources that we have available to folks. I also work with our volunteer corps. Without our volunteer corps, we wouldn't be able to do anything in community if it wasn't for them. So I work very closely with training them and ensuring that the opportunities we provide for volunteers to get involved with meet what it is that they want to do. Actually, it's interesting. I joined AARP, as I said, 5 years ago, and I had always been working for-profit companies, but on the side, I would always do volunteer work with nonprofits. So when the opportunity came forth for me to join AARP, I said, this is a great way for me to kind of join both my professional career as well as my personal career and doing good. So that's how I came to join AARP.
That's fabulous. What a great story that is. Matt, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us how you became to be part of AARP?
Perfect. Great. My name is Matt Netto. I'm the Associate State Director of Advocacy and Outreach for AARP. I've actually only been here since early November. I came to AARP to start working in advocacy after some stints with American Diabetes Association and also Best Buddies International. So here at AARP, I work on all different types of advocacy initiatives, heavy focus on legislative issues, stuff going on in the General Assembly, but also stuff going on across the state and in local communities as well. Anything that can help enhance the lives of people 50 and older in Rhode Island. So I have a lot of fun doing it. I am a lifelong nonprofit employee, if you will. I've only worked for one for-profit company in my entire life. So this is nonprofit world is my home, and I enjoy every moment of it. And it's an honor to be able to work to help enrich the lives of others.
That's wonderful. I agree with you. The nonprofit world is the way to go. I've worked for for-profit companies, but I've always been involved as a volunteer in the nonprofit community. And now that I started my own nonprofit, it's where to be. We're the cool people. Unfortunately, in a year or so, a little over a year, I will be part of AARP age-wise. That's a little bit scary. Darlene, why don't you tell us a little bit of some of the events that are going on or some of the progresses that you have going on right now?
It's great. Well, first of all, Tina, you said unfortunately. I want to say you're fortunate to be able to come into the 50-plus decade. So anyway, we're glad to have you. So yes, as part of my outreach efforts, I do plan a lot of events and programs in community. As you know, since the pandemic hit last year, a lot of organizations had to, a famous word for 2020, they had to pivot and take their in-person events and programs and push them forth on a virtual platform. So we had to do the same thing last year with AARP, and we had to create some virtual experiences in order to keep our members and the community at large and connected with us. So we've created a lot of different opportunities for folks. Some of the opportunities that we offer involved cooking series. We also do a monthly coffee chat that features nonprofit organizations. We also put on fraud, caregiving types of webinars. So it really crosses the whole gamut of different types of opportunities that people can get involved in. So I didn't know if you wanted me to particularly, highlight some of them at this time, but I'd be more than happy to let you know about some of the ones we have coming up.
Absolutely.
Did you want? Okay, great. Okay, yeah. So one of the as I said, we have a healthy cooking series that we have been putting on for the past year, actually almost a year, and it features a local chef, Chef Mary from Newport Cooks, and she prepares meals via Zoom, and participants can cook along with her or view to prepare later. We of course provide the recipes ahead of time, and it really provides the opportunity for participants to ask the chef questions such as what are the right utensils to use for cutting vegetables or fruits, what is the ratio of measurement between dry ingredients versus fresh ingredients. That's always like something that a lot of people ask her about. She also provides a lot of information on substitutes, such as can you substitute in this particular recipe, honey for sugar or maple syrup for sugar. So it's really, really caught on. People just love it, and she, again, she features it's a healthy cooking series. So we want to make sure that everything and the meals that she prepares really, add value to you and really speak to keeping you fit and healthy, right? As we get older, there's certain things that we really need to be conscious of in our diet. So Chef Mary really prepares a lot of great things. The next one that we will be hosting for the cooking series is on Thursday, April 15th from 4 to 5. And let me say, all of these types of events and programs that we offer virtually are free. So that's one of the best things about it as well, is that we offer a lot of free opportunities.
How does somebody join that?
Well, actually, you don't even have to be in it. Yeah, you don't have to be an AARP member, first of all, to participate in any of our programs or events or anything that we're featuring virtually. You can just go to www.aarp.org/RI and scroll down, and you'll see a section that says events. If you click on the events, you'll see all of our offerings there, including the cooking series and some other things that we're doing across the country. So that's one thing I have to say that the virtual world has really provided to us. It's that it's really provided the opportunity for us to offer offerings across the country. So you can participate in some sort of virtual event or webinar, and there'll be people across the country that are participating in it. So it's not just Rhode Islanders. So that's really exciting. And I even think in some cases, it's possible that you may have people from other country that will be involved in it. So I'm glad that you're putting that up there, Tina. So this is where you would find all that we're offering. I really like the decluttering one and downsizing one. I think I might have to sign up for that one. So one of the other, and you can see them all there, and, you just have to register, and if it's on a platform such as Zoom, most of the time they'll just send you the link because of security reasons. When you register, then in your confirmation email, they'll send you the link to join that. One other real great monthly forum that we offer is called our monthly coffee chat, and that spotlights local organizations to provide information and education to participants. We've hosted organizations such as Bike Newport, URI Master Gardeners, the Newport Music Festival, and recently we spotlighted the Rhode Island Black Heritage Society. So it's a great way for organizations to come on and talk about what they do. So maybe, Tina, this is a great opportunity for RAMP to come on, for you to come on with RAMP. So we'll have to talk about that later and spotlight your organization as well. Yeah, so it's great. Yeah. And people really like the coffee chat because they learn good things on it.
Yeah,
we're really happy about that.
Some of them, and Yeah, I've joined some of the coffee chats, and I've also watched Mary cook. I've tried some of her recipes. I'm not a cook, but I was actually able to cook some of her recipes successfully. So she does such a great job of walking you right through it, and you know what I mean, working with you. So that's such great ideas. I love what AARP does. They do so much good for so many. But I want to get to Matt as part of being on the Governor's Commission for Disability. Rhode Island is very unique with the home modification thing that we have going on right now. Matt, I want, because AARP had such a huge hand in getting that started here in Rhode Island. Tell everybody what the home modification is and how people can participate.
Yes, so the Livable Home Modification Grant is a program that was put in place with support from AARP Rhode Island a few years ago. It is administered from the Governor's Commission on Disabilities. And what it does is it provides grants to older Rhode Islanders who are disabled to modify their homes, which includes stuff like adding wheelchair ramps, chair lifts, walk-in or roll-in showers. And what it does, it allows them to obtain these grants so that they can age and live in their own home within their own community without being forced to go to some sort of assisted living facility or nursing home or something else of the like. So it really allows people a chance to modify their home so that, you know, if they are disabled, they can have it accessible and make it work for them, and they can stay at home. It is a very popular program. It has really grown exponentially in just a few short years, and pretty much every year now it exhausts its budget, which is usually around $500,000. So it's a popular program. It does a lot of great things for a lot of people across the state.
Yeah, it's so important that people get to age in place, especially in the middle of a pandemic. It gives people, you know, a whole new view. Like I said, everybody was blessed this year to get a sneak peek into the disabled community, because where we couldn't go out and be with our families because we can't get in because it's not accessible, or we can't go here or there, or we can't participate, the whole world couldn't participate. But when the world opens up again, please bring us with you. But aging in place is so important. It saves on all of the Medicare, you know, hospitalizations, nursing homes. You know, talk a little bit about that and how it saves so much money by being able to make these modifications and aging in place, how we save so much money elsewhere.
So you were exactly right on the Medicaid costs. You know, keeping people out of nursing homes, it really gives the state savings on taxpayer dollars, and it's really beneficial in many different ways. And like you mentioned, also reducing falls and hospitalizations. Falls are the leading cause of injuries in hospitals in Rhode Island, and most of these people are ages 65 and older. So the home modifications go a long way towards preventing that and reducing that. And what it also does, it increases the accessible home inventory for these modifications. You know, it isn't just done for yourself, but if you go to sell your house, or different people move in, whether it's an apartment or a home, those modifications can be there for future residents as well. But specifically, yes, you are definitely correct that, you know, keeping people in their own home, allowing them to age in their own home and not nursing homes, does save the state tremendously on having them not have to go on Medicaid and have that cost to the state. So it definitely helps a lot in many different ways.
That, like I said, I love this program so much because it's more humanizing. It's more keeping you with your faculties with you and keeping your positive sense of humor or your positive outlook on life when you're in your own comfortable home that you've been in for years. And it's so true that it adds to the value of your home. It doesn't devalue your home. It's not ugly. It doesn't take away from the beauty of your home. I mean, I have a fully accessible home that was just built by Habitat for Humanity, and you wouldn't even know of all of the accessibility that my house has. It's a beautiful home. It adds to the cost of your home. Darlene, do you want to add anything to this?
Yes, I do. I just wanted to point out too that the livable home modification grant isn't just for homeowners, it also can be for renters. So of course you would have to
Yes.
get the permission of the homeowner, but right, Matt? So you have to get the permission of the homeowner,
Yes.
but it's really a plus for renters to have these modifications made for them. I think the caveat is that the homeowner would have to ensure that whatever modifications made, that they would have to keep it in the home for 10 years. So even if the rentee moves out and they have another rentee that comes in, then they would have to be able to keep that at least for 10 years. So that's the good news about it. It is a wonderful program and gives people, and the list is very expansive as what it covers. And the Governor's Commission, Elisa Gleason, is very knowledgeable, and she's a good contact with you. You call her, and she can give you all of the information regarding qualifications and the criteria and all that stuff that you need to know to apply for it.
Yeah, I mean, they truly do. They cover, I mean, from A to Z. There's so much that they do cover. And Alyssa Gleason is the person to contact at the commission. You know, we do so many of these loans, and it's true. We exhaust it by the end of every year so far, and we're hoping that it becomes a permanent staple in Rhode
Yes.
Island. We're still waiting for that to pass so people can write to their legislators and stuff to make sure that this is a program that lasts. So make sure that you do that. Matt, why don't you tell us a little bit about how we can reach out and how the everyday person can help make sure that this stays in Rhode Island?
Yes, so there is a bill currently right now. It went up for hearing just last week. AARP did testify in support of it, along with many other great organizations, and it was held for further study. So what I can say is reach out to your local senator, reach out to your rep, and let them know the importance of this act and that it needs to be codified and made permanent here in Rhode Island. Up until now, it's a grant program. It gets funded annually, but it is not a permanent part of the budget. And that's something that needs to be changed so that we can ensure that this vital grant program does not go away for the people that need it. So please reach out to your legislators, let them know the importance of this, let them know that this year is the year to make sure it becomes permanent so that we can ensure it never ever goes away.
Yeah, it's great. I also testified in support of this program. So make sure we do that. But what are some other advocacy avenues that AARP is taking the lead on that they have working right now in Rhode Island?
One of the big ones we have right now is actually a prescription drug package of bills that is up for hearing tomorrow in the Senate Health and Human Services Committee. It is something that we put forward last year. It is a package of 8 bills, and I can't say we, I say my predecessor, John D. Tomaso. This was really his, he put everything he had into this, and the lucky man got to retire last summer. So I am trying to pick up the work and carry his torch and make sure we see it to the finish line. But the Senate President Ruggiero has put forth a package sponsored by many great legislators. It's 8 bills that range from cap on monthly insulin costs to formulary changes to the creation of a drug affordability board. And there's many more of them. I won't go through every single one. It would take a very long time. But it is up for all 8 bills are up for hearing tomorrow. It's at 5 o'clock is the hearing, and that is it's a major push for us this year. Is making sure that we are able to pass legislation that lowers the cost of prescription drugs. On the average, older adults have 4.5 prescriptions that they need to take. The average chronic medication that you have to take, and missing a word here that I usually pick up on, that you have to take daily is average of $6,700 to $6,900 a year. So at 4.5 of them, you're looking at $28,000, $30,000 a year. Some people have to pay just to get the life-saving medication that they need, and what it does is it forces people to make really difficult and awful choices. whether or not they pay for their life-saving medication or the medication they need to help take care of their families and to stay well, or pay their rent, or go to the grocery store. Those are real questions that people have to deal with on a daily basis, and it's not something anyone deserves. So we are really looking forward to working with the Senate, and hopefully it passes the Senate so we can start working with the House of Representatives to make sure that this package of bills passes this year, and that we're able to put some savings in the pockets of people that so desperately need it. Another example is insulin drugs for people with diabetes. It can be tens of thousands of dollars a year. It's extremely expensive, almost cost prohibitive. And what it leads to is people not taking the full amount, people not getting the amount of insulin that they need to because they're rationing, or they're trying to make sure they can make it last. And they're not following the doctor's orders, which can lead to them to get very ill. So it's not just diabetes, it's all types of ailments and diseases. And we really hope that this package of legislation can get passed through that can put some ease in the minds of people that are really, have to make these horrible decisions every day.
Again, another bill that, I'm firmly behind, because everybody's going to get to that point, or everybody's going to have a loved one who's in that position, who has to take this medication. I know, when I was going through it at the worst of it, I had to make those decisions too, because, your medication is so expensive, and we need to take care of our fellow Rhode Islanders, and we need to make sure that they're healthy, and we need to make sure we're doing the right thing. So this is if you are not supporting these bills now because you don't need them, when you do need them, you're going to wish you did. So make sure you're writing your congressmen, your senators, and reaching out. If you don't know how, reach out to us, and we will get you in touch with the people that you need to reach out to testify. I'll be testifying again tomorrow on that bill as well, because I testify on as many as I can in complete support. But everybody else should be doing it too, because like I said, go ahead.
And it's so easy to testify now. With everything virtual, it is so easy to testify. It can be written. You can just write a couple paragraphs and send an email, and it get passed along to the legislators. Or you sign up for verbal, and they will call your cell phone and say, "It's time for you to go." And you say your thing. You say thank you, and that's it. It's so simple. You don't have to be at the state house anymore. You don't have to sit there for hours on end waiting. It is very convenient, and it's very powerful. I've seen so many meetings this year where there's been hours and hours of verbal testimony that will just, it touches your heart that there's so much passion in this state that people want to see change. So that's just one thing I want to say is it's not intimidating at all. Testifying is so easy to do now in the virtual world.
It is. I mean, I could sit in the middle of supper or be having my dog on my lap, and they call me and like, it's your turn to testify. I'm not sitting for hours on end in the state house waiting for my turn. And, there are so many people that want to do something. They want to make a difference. Here is the easiest possible way that you could make a difference. Sign up to testify, wait for the phone call, and give you a 2-minute spiel on why you support the bills that you support. Like I said, if you don't need it now, a loved one or you are going to need it in the near future. So make sure you're supporting all of this stuff. What else is coming down the line? Is there anything else that's out there?
So yes, we work on a slew of different bills every year. Some of the other ones that we have worked on so far this year is a circuit breaker program for property taxes. What it does is ensure that people 65 and older, or people with disabilities, are not paying over a certain percentage of their annual fixed income on property tax. So what it does is give a small credit, a small break in your property taxes, which will also go a long way towards helping you stay in your home and helping people stay in their own communities. So we are working on that. There is also another bill for home-based services being extended to people under 65 that have dementia or Alzheimer's. It's another bill that we have testified for and we are in support of. So there are many great pieces of legislation out there this year. It's a vast a vast array of different issues are being taken up right now in the General Assembly, and they're all very, very important. Another one most recently that actually just passed the vote on the floor yesterday, I believe it was, is a bill that would allow people to get property tax credits for volunteering for their own municipality in their own town. So that's another one that's gaining some momentum here in Rhode Island. So those are a lot of the bills that we've been working on. There are also a lot of bills coming out that have to do with nursing home reform. Everything that happened with COVID and nursing homes over the past year has really shined a light on things that need to be changed for the better of our future and the better of our elderly. So that's happening a lot, and we've also been very, very active in advocating for people to have equitable and accessible access and easy access to vaccines, and make sure that the most vulnerable among us have priority in getting those vaccines for COVID-19. So we've done a lot of work on the COVID-19 front as well. It's been a pretty busy last few months, but we're looking forward to really digging into the rest of the legislative session and getting some of these great pieces of legislation passed. One other one I forgot to mention was the Elder Adult Financial Exploitation Act, which was put forth and many different organizations are working on. And what that does is it gives the banking institutions the ability to highlight suspected fraud. Let's say someone's being exploited financially. There's many different ways it happens these days. It's a way for the banks to have a recourse to be able to alert authorities to what they suspect could be someone being financially exploited. So it's another very great piece of legislation. So it really never ends. There are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of bills, and all I can say is if you have a passion for any of these, use your voice. You can reach out, become a volunteer with AARP, work with us on advocacy, or work with Darlene on the community side and outreach side. I'm sure get a hold of you, Tina, and work with you. And you seem very active on the legislative side as well. If you have any nerves about it, you want to talk through it, reach out to someone that does it. We can really tell you very quickly, it is not intimidating at all, especially in the virtual world. It's very easy to get involved, and your voice does matter. It really does matter.
Yeah. Darlene, I want you to tell everybody how they can become involved, how they can know what bills are coming up, when they're coming up, how they can sign up for testimony. Can you walk us through that?
Well, as regarding the testimony piece of it, I really rely on Matt to give you a little bit more information of how to get involved with that. But let me just talk for one moment regarding just the volunteer overall. So you can either reach out to Matt or myself if you'd like to learn about different opportunities for you to get involved. And we say at AARP, nothing is too little to get involved with us. So you can do as little as you want, as much as you want, but just do something, because something makes a difference. The little thing that you volunteer for can make a difference. You may not think so, but it does. So we have a lot of great volunteer opportunities in advocacy and outreach, such as helping to plan, in my world, helping to plan events, helping with the actual event itself virtually right now as we're in this space. You can participate in events such as introducing a speaker. If you're really technically savvy, you can actually run the whole Zoom event. We also do a lot of planning, so you can be involved in helping us to identify opportunities of different topics that we should be featuring, or organizations. So it really runs the gamut as far as the wonderful opportunities we have for volunteers. And again, you can contact me, and I can give you my phone number, which is 401 248-2674, and we can talk about what you like to do and make it fit to what you like to do. And the most important thing is we want you to enjoy what you're doing. So that's why we try to match your skill sets or what you enjoy doing with what we have available. But in most cases, we can also create something that may be totally new. So again, you can call me at 401-248-2674, and I'll have Matt tell you how you can get involved in more of the advocacy, and if that's something that you're really interested in doing.
Yeah.
Yes.
How can they reach you by? Wait a minute, Matt. How can they reach you, Darlene, by email? In case email is better for them than instead of calling.
Sure. So email is DREZAROSSI@aarp.org.
Perfect. And Matt, make sure you give out your email as well when you tell us how we can get involved.
Yes, no, definitely. No, I appreciate it. So just to go back to your question quickly, if people want to learn how they can find out about these committee hearings or what bills are coming up, is the Trustee General Assembly website. If you have the ability to go to the website, it is full of information. You would never get bored. I'm on this site 4 hours a day. And if you go to the main page on the right side, it's a little tab that says committee calendars, and you can click on that. It'll show you all the different committee meetings coming up for that week. It'll give you a list of documents for each committee meeting that shows you what bills are coming up and being heard that week in that committee. Or if you want to go straight to the bills and forget about the committees, you can go straight to the legislation tab, where they have many different search bars where you could drill it down. You can look up all legislation pertaining to affordable housing or prescription drugs or disability rights or anything you can imagine. Right now is a lot going on with the environment, a lot of legislation working on environmental issues. So it really is a wealth of information on the State of Rhode Island General Assembly website. The direct link is kind of strange, but it is rilin.state.ri.us. And it has a listing of all the representatives, the senators, their contact information. One tab has all the news, the press releases they put out on a daily basis. And then it's also where Capital TV is housed. You can go on, if you have Cox Cable or Verizon Cable, they both have channels where they show the Capital TV all day long, and you can find out what's going to be on that day from this website, where it lists every single committee that's going to be held and tells you what station it's going to be on, or whether it's on live TV or on the web service that they have. You can also get into tracking bills. You can, if you find a bill that you're really in support of, you can enter it into your little tracker, and you'll get email updates and tell you when the bill is moved and who's hearing it next and what's going on with it. So it really is, if you want to get involved and you have interest, you got some time, dig into the General Assembly website, and I'm sure you'll find something that can interest you. But if you want to join us, we have many different avenues when it comes to advocacy. As you can imagine, there is a lot of meetings to be monitored with everything being virtual. So we have volunteers that are coming on board to help monitor some of these virtual meetings, which pretty much means watching them in their own home and taking notes on it and reporting back to the committee. And we also are looking into local advocacy. We want to know what's happening in the local towns and cities. So we're looking for people that want to volunteer from each community throughout the state. So we can disperse information down to them, but we can also have eyes and ears on the ground in each community, keeping us up to date on what's happening and what the latest trends are in the community, what projects are being worked on, what legislation or rules are being passed or talked about in the city councils, so that we can assist where we can, be a resource to everyone that needs us. And if you want to get involved with any of that, you can email me. It's mnetto@aarp.org, mnetto, or you could give me a call. I just set up my office number, so I don't have it memorized yet, but my cell phone number is 401-834-0524. So 401-834-0524. Give me a call, shoot me an email, even send me a text. I'll get back to you right away and give you all the information you need to find out whether working with us and volunteering and having a great time with us is something that you're interested in.
That's great.
Tina, I'd like to add,
just quickly, if somebody went on the AARP Rhode Island page, could they sign up for email there and get notified? Because I know I get a lot of notifications of what bills are coming up, or what the latest thing is that AARP is supporting. That's how I find out a lot of the stuff that's going on. How can people do that?
Yes, go straight to
I can speak to that.
aarp.org/Rhode Island. Oh, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, darling.
I would say you could also you can call the AARP member hotline, and I don't know if I have it with me, but if you go on aarp.org and there's a place where you can find how to sign up for emails and all of that. So that's where you would begin with. So if you sign up for aarp.org emails, you'll get emails directly from AARP National as well as from the Rhode Island state office. Because we at the state office use the list that is generated by our national office to reach out to those folks in Rhode Island. So you really have to start, I think, with the national office to opt in to get emails from AARP, and then you will automatically also get emails from AARP Rhode Island. It's a little tricky, when you're working with a national organization, but that's the best way. That's the best way. And you don't have to be a member of AARP in order to get our emails. You just have to contact the main office and opt in to get the emails, because we have plenty of people that are not members, but they do receive our emails.
And the nice thing I have to say about that is you don't get over emailed. There's nothing worse than opting into an email and then you're getting them daily or weekly. AARP only sends out the most pertinent information. Like I said, I get all of their emails and I am not overwhelmed by I actually welcome their emails, because sometimes I'll say, what's the next thing that's coming up? What am I supporting this week? Or, you know what I mean? What do I need to make sure that I'm on? So if you do sign up, you're not going to get overly emailed. You're going to get the most pertinent information that you need. And I get it for all of the stuff going on just in Rhode Island. So I don't know if they cover it down to your state, but I get mostly just the emails for Rhode Island. So that works for me, because then I know what's coming up and what's going on and what I'm supporting this week, because it keeps me on track. Because with my organization and the Governor's Commission, it keeps me on track, because I'm also working with Raise the Bar for the nursing homes and so many other advocacy events, that it keeps me on track and keeps me going to what I'm supposed to be at. Darlene, give us the most important thing that you want all Rhode Islanders to know about AARP.
That AARP has your back. We're dedicated to the over 50 age population, but we really work for all folks, and to ensure that as they're aging in place or aging in community, that they have the necessary amenities that they need, and products and services. So we're here for you, but we also want to hear from you and understanding of what your needs are. But AARP does great work, and as you know, we're a large advocacy organization. So on the federal front, we're always advocating for those things that the older adults need in their life, such as Medicare and Social Security. And on the local front, as you heard from Matt, we're involved in many different types of legislative issues that we feel that are important to the age 50 plus community. So it's really a matter of being involved with us and helping us to get our word out and help us to continue this work, because we can't do it by ourselves. We're a staff of 5 here in the Rhode Island office, and so we can't do it alone, and we really need your support. And we look for volunteers to help us in that matter, and just the community at large to join us and helping us to push these things forward. And because ultimately they're going to benefit you, they're going to benefit a loved one. So we ask you to, help us to do that. As I say, the message comes bigger in numbers, right? The louder you are. So we invite you to come along with us and join us. And we promise you'll have fun doing it.
Yeah, and it's true. We are stronger together. But the nice thing about AARP, that it's just not if you're 50 or older, you can call for your family member. You can call for your loved one. They will help you if you don't know what the right direction, or you need a support for your loved one that you don't know. You can call AARP at any age to help somebody else as well. I know I have called or sent a lot of families to you and they've all been helped. So I want people to know that you don't have to wait till you're 50 to call. You can call in regards to somebody else or a loved one, or just to get information. If you're getting close like me, I'm a year and a half away, just to have information. Or like I said, she said, they're a team of 5. We need a lot more than 5 to pass a lot of these bills and to get this advocacy going and making sure that we're taking care of our fellow Rhode Islanders. We're stronger in numbers and none of us can do this alone. So get up, do something, and do some good. It takes nothing to do. Matt, give us something. What is the most important thing about AARP that you want people to know?
What I think is the most important thing that stuck out to me over the last few months since I've been here is let people know that their voice is needed. Like you just said, it takes more than 5, and throughout the COVID kind of what's been happening over the last few months, we've had a lot of people reaching out, and a lot of people are upset. A lot of people have been confused or frustrated. And we try to answer every single call, every single email. We have conversations. And it's important to voice that to us because it lets us know what Rhode Islanders need. It lets us know what's really happening out there. And we've been able to, take a lot of that information and help guide us into what we need to start paying attention to next when it comes to the pandemic response. And also with, property taxes and with prescription drugs, we want to hear from you. And I think that's the most important for people to know is we're taking your information and we take it seriously. It's not just going to go in an inbox that maybe someone will read. No, we take that input and it helps to guide us on what we're going to go and work on next. And at the same time, it helps us identify people with passion, people that have an urge to see change. And hopefully I can recruit some of them to become volunteers. That's really been the most important thing for me to see through AARP the last few months is the power of one person's voice, and just not being shy, not being intimidated by it. But if you have an issue and you want to see change, reach out to us. Let's talk about it, because you never know where it could lead. You really don't.
Here are my 2 takes on AARP. Number 1, you will always get a call back, no matter what your issue is, no matter what your concern is. If they can't answer you right then and there on the phone, they will research it, they will find out the answer, and they will call you back. I have never once had anybody say AARP did not get back to me or did not take care of my issue. My other favorite thing about AARP, you don't have to be rich and you don't have to take a dime out of your pocket to be the change, to be the difference, and to change somebody's perspective. It costs you nothing to testify. It costs you nothing to stand up or hand out pamphlets. It costs you nothing to organize an event. It costs you nothing to participate. It's just you, your heart, and doing good for the rest of Rhode Islanders, because someday it's going to be you that needs this help. Let's get the world ready for you when it's your time. Do something good and pay it forward now, so it's all ready for you when you're there. And it's free. It costs you nothing but your time and your heart. That's it. That is my favorite thing about AARP. Anything you want to add to that, Darlene? Did anything pop in your head that you wanted to add on?
Again, thank you for that, Tina, because their passion just shines through as so many of our members and just volunteers. They come forth and they tell us their stories, and that's one thing that we love at AARP is we love to hear the stories from people. Sometimes we know that they can be not all positive, but that's okay, because that's what we want to hear, and we want to be able to at certain times to really highlight those stories for others to hear, especially, again, a legislature needs to hear them about some of these things that affect people in a negative way, and that's why we're pushing bills forth because of this. So story collecting is very important to us, and we want to hear some of your personal stories of some of these things that are impacting you and how they've impacted you or a loved one. And we also want to look for people that want to share their story. But there are times when we want someone to get up and come forth and say, this is what's happened to me. You can also be part of our speaker series. That's another way to volunteer with us as well, is not only share your stories, but also help us to bring educational resources and information to Rhode Islanders. So you can become part of our speaker series, where as a volunteer, and we can give you training on these various topics, and we'll work with you on how to bring it forth in the community. So again, we love that passion, and again, we love to hear from people that want to help us and come along with us.
Yeah. Telling your story tells people that they're not alone. You think you're the only one that has that story, but your story can help somebody else. Your story can help somebody else connect. And with a time that we're in right now with the mental depression and the isolation and everything, telling your story and helping somebody else could change tremendously the trajectory of that person's life and what they're going to do next, knowing that they're not alone, that their voice makes a difference, that just by speaking up they can make a difference, could change the entire trajectory. I can tell you a quick story of somebody that I know was down and out, completely isolated, going with her disability and everything, and found out that her story inspired a young woman to not commit suicide, and that changed both of their lives. And now they are bonded and they go around and they tell their story together. So telling your story doesn't just change your life, it changes somebody else's. So you can make the biggest difference. And again, it costs you nothing. So there is no reason to not do it or to say you can't afford it. Just tell your story. It can make all the difference in the world. Matt, did anything pop into your head to add to that?
Just what you mentioning, isolation, that has been a major issue throughout the past year for many people. And you do see it just taking the time to talk to someone, the impact it can have. We have people that call us and, they share their story, and if I can help them in a tangible way, I do. If not, I'll listen and give my advice. And just to share stories, I got a call back about a week and a half ago from a lady that I had spoke to many times over the last month or two, who was really trying hard to stay patient to get a COVID vaccine. And one day I got a phone call on my cell phone Sunday afternoon at like 4:00, and it was her, and she was very celebratory, and she was happy and laughing, and I never heard her that way. And she had finally done it. She had fought through the red tape and stayed on the computer and kept making the phone calls and some of the resources I told her to reach out to. And she got her COVID shot, and she was so happy and she was so thankful. And it's that's the stuff that really keeps me going. Is the human connection. And I know Darlene does a lot of work on this. I mean, she's been doing a lot of work with different partners on zero isolation. And Darlene, I don't know if you want to mention that briefly, but you've been working hard on that.
Yes, if I may, yes, thank you, Matt. So we here at AARP Rhode Island is partnering with AARP in Connecticut to bring a zero isolation program to both states. And right now it's in the virtual space, but what it is that participants participate in the program, and it's a way for them to learn new types of skills for them to socially integrate themselves. We're working with Dr. Nicholson from Connecticut. He's the one who developed the program, and we're just very excited about it because we think it's really needed at this time for folks to learn to be better engaged and to really learn how to integrate themselves with others. So it's a wonderful program for participants. So we're looking for people that want to participate in it. We're also looking for folks that want to train to be facilitators of the programs, because we need more people to bring it into community. Right now we're looking at various community-based organizations such as senior centers, other health organizations that may want their staff to be trained as facilitators so that they, again, can bring it into community or to their patrons, as well as college college and university students. We're inviting them to participate also in this great program. It's a wonderful opportunity for them to become facilitators or the role of navigator. A navigator is someone that will work with the older adult to ensure that they connected properly to the platforms that we're using in order to run this program. So we actually had an info session on it today, and we had 60 people that participated, which was wonderful for the first time that we actually put on this program. So we're really excited about it. If you would like to find out more information about it, whether you would like to participate in the program, it's free, of course. Let me say that it's all free. So whether you're a participant or you want to train to be a facilitator, or if you're a student that wants to get involved, a university, a college student, and by the way, you could also possibly get internship credits for or community service credits for it. If you're interested on all of those fronts, you can contact me again at DREZAROSSI@aarp.org, or my phone number, which is 401-248-2674. And thank you for the lead in with the isolation. I appreciate that very much, Tina and Matt.
I heard the word isolation and I was like, ooh, darling.
Well,
exactly.
AARP Rhode Island does so much for so many. So if you're hearing this message, if you're watching this podcast today, the best thing you can do is share it. Share, get this word out. And if you know somebody doesn't have a computer or is not watching this, give them the phone number to AARP Rhode Island. Have them reach out to Darlene and Matt. Have them reach out to anybody that they can. Just that small act of telling them about AARP Rhode Island, write down the phone number for them so they have a way of contacting them and getting out of the isolation and getting the services and getting the help that they need. Maybe they could find a way to participate and advocate and find a new heart and a new lead on life and a new way of doing things. We also have the Ramp Red Bag Initiative, carrying all of your medical information on you at all times. It's non-tech based. You can go to www.rampisinclusion.com and grab your red bag today. This is a great opportunity for all people who are AARP members or not. Again, my 20-year-old son carries one just because he wants to be an organ donor and wants to take that decision away from me. So that way he's all taken care of. So go onto our website and grab your red bag today. Definitely reach out to aarp.org/Rhode Island. Contact Darlene, contact Matt. Darlene, give us your phone number and email one more time.
Sure, it's 401-248-2674 or DREZAROSSI@aarp.org.
And Matt, your phone number and email address?
Okay, so my phone number is 401-834-0524, or you can email me at mnetto@aarp.org, mnetto@aarp.org.
And you guys can also go to the www.aarp.org/Rhode Island. If you forget either one of those phone numbers or email address, you can always go to the direct site and ask for Darlene or Matt. I'm sure somebody from the AARP Rhode Island could definitely get you in touch with Darlene and Matt. Thank you both so much for being guests here today. I've learned so much. I am so proud of everything that AARP does for Rhode Island and beyond, because it is a national organization, and RAMP definitely is going to be getting more involved when I get some free time, if that's ever possible. But we absolutely take care of the same community, whether it's elderly, whether it's a disabled population, or just families in itself. The bottom line is volunteer. We're stronger together. None of us are going to get through this life by ourselves. We need each other. But AARP Rhode Island is definitely somebody you want to be in contact with, because if you don't need it now, your loved ones do, and you will need it eventually. We pray that you need it eventually, because Darlene was right earlier when I said, unfortunately, I'm almost 50. I am so blessed being a 4-time cancer survivor and ending up in a wheelchair 7 years ago. I'm still here to celebrate going to be an AARP member and being able to make a difference in this world. It's what kept me going. So join up, sign up, step up, show up. Just be the difference in Rhode Island is what we need. Thank you both so much. I am so glad and honored to call you both my friend. And I'm glad that you were on my show tonight. I look forward to working with you both in the future. So thank you.
Well, thank you,
Tina, for this wonderful opportunity.
And I want to invite everybody back next Wednesday night where we will be talking to the Rhode Island Cross Disabilities Coalition. It is a coalition that helps people with disabilities across Rhode Island make a difference in this world and make a difference in their own lives. So next Wednesday night at 7:00 p.m., we will be live again with the Rhode Island Cross Disability Coalition. And again, every day, don't just sit there, make a difference. Be a participant in your life and in this world, because your one smile could change the lives of so many. Have a great night and see you all next